Hi, my name is Vina Hogg and I live and own Pen Pont, and at the moment we are running a day's workshop on herb production because I have 2 wall gardens here at Pen Pont which I manage. We grow organic veg as well as herbs. So Farming Connect have sponsored an event today that we can host in our venue here in the stables, and then later on this afternoon we will go out to the wall gardens and see where we grow our herbs.
I think herbs are a potentially good crop for Wales because they can be grown by anybody, small, medium or large, and there's a load of different markets for them, from direct to restaurants through to supermarket supply. A lot of scope. You can do plant fairs, put some herbs in box schemes, etc. So very, very useful sort of crop. This is a workshop today, so we've got cuttings to take and seeds to move from one pot to another, and hopefully at the end of it everybody will be grounded in some practical ability on propagation of herbs. This is an organic unit, but not necessarily, we're not just sticking to organic today, we're covering conventional growing as well, but there will be a tour of the wall garden later on and we can see some herbs actually in plots rather, that will be demonstrated. Organic is a bit more difficult for pest control, but as herbs stand they don't really get a lot of pests to worry about, so herbs is probably one of the easier areas to pioneer in organic production. Well, each herb has different requirements. A lot of them originate from the Mediterranean area, so they usually like it fairly dry, so they won't put up with wet. So that's really why you need some sort of protection. You need polythene tunnels or glass houses, and especially Wales today's a good example, being a fairly wet climate. They tend to suffer a bit outside, but once the actual plants are rooted and propagated, then they'll tolerate the rain okay, so they will give your customers a good result. Generally it's just looking after the cuttings, making sure they root. Most cuttings are lost through either being too hot or too wet. And then there's the seed sowing, herbs like coriander, where you need to sow in the summer probably every 2 weeks, so you've always got some to sow because they're quite short-term crops, and you cut them in bunches and then you're on to the next crop just to maintain continuity. But there's nothing to stop you drying herbs and selling them off, to local markets and maybe to the chefs and restaurants and that sort of trade. I tend to find that the more local things are dried and the less mileage they do, the better the oil content is, so the better the flavour.